Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Broadway Jets YouTube channel. You'll know me from Twitter as NYJ Mike. I'm joined as always by the master of receipts, NYJ Matt. And Matt, the Jets beat down the Patriots 24-3. They moved to 2-1. We have a beautiful weekend of football ahead of us. The Broncos are in town next week. Vibes are high, Matt. Vibes are high.
It feels really good, Mike. We were at the game Thursday. If you're watching it, we're not going to go play-by-play. You've already seen all those videos. We'll talk more grand scheme of things, what this game means. But, Mike, to start, I feel honored to be a Jet fan, which is something we don't say often. You know, I look back at you're at work, the guy at the water cooler giving you shit, family members, friends. And for 13 years, I had a right to do it. And 2015, 2022, there were good moments, but it was never a complete team. And it feels really good right now to say, yeah, I'm a Jet fan. Yeah, the Jets have a complete team. They're 2-1 with a 2-0 AFC conference record. It feels really good. And the vibes of that game, like, I don't know how you felt. We've been going to games for a long time. I don't think there's been a more meaningful, more impactful, more dominant win that we've ever seen in person. And in prime time, as always, the Jets org did a great job with the intros and everything. But holy hell, what a good day. And again, it's an honor to be a Jet fan today.
Dude, I was trying to describe to people who weren't at the game what the atmosphere was like, because I said it was a production. There was they blacked out the lights and everyone had wristbands lighting up and the helicopters are flying over and they're playing crazy music and people are freaking out. Rodgers runs on the field. Horrible national anthem though, which was hilarious. Man, and then the game, and you're right, Matt. That was probably the most fun game that we've ever been to. The only game that was similar in terms of the feel of the domination was the Jets-Bears game 2 years ago, 31-10, but it's not as important. It did move the Jets to 7-4, but you're playing with Mike White, who we love, but it's just not the same feel. This is the makings of what we were hoping to be a Super Bowl team, and you have a disappointing week one, and you go out and win a gritty week two game, and you're like, all right, we just want to see it. We've been hearing about it for years, literally years at this point, of it's going to click, and we believe it's going to click. And we have this conviction, and we say, look, we have all these guys, and we have Garrett Wilson, and the offensive line, and Rodgers, and Sauce, and Quinton, and C.J. Mosley, and Quincy, and bang, we're going to fucking destroy some people. And then you finally do it on national TV against the team that beat the hell out of you for 20 years, and you destroy them and embarrass them, and they have no chance in the game, and you outgain them by hundreds of yards. What a feeling, Matt. I can't even believe it.
And then the Patriots are running the ball down 3 scores in the fourth quarter, like dead. And Evil Empire dead,
not alive.
Should the Patriots face relegation? I don't know.
You got to think about it.
But
the UFL, what is it? The CFL. There's many leagues.
It is it means a lot more that it was against the Patriots too. It really does, because I think in 2019 on the Monday Night Football game, the Jets are coming off a win against Dallas, and you're heading into that Monday night game. Darnold's turning it around. You get to see like your sophomore quarterback go after it.
Yeah, we were.
You lose 33-0. You never have the football. You have like 80 total yards of offense, and I would argue that game, like, really set the stage for the next 3 years. Truly, like that 2019, 20, and 21 season had the after effects of that game and the ripple that it caused. It was just an embarrassment to be a Jet fan at that time. And you go through the next 5 years, and the Patriots, even post Tom Brady, still have your number. Like, no matter how bad the Patriots were playing, Mac Jones was undefeated against the Jets, and everything that came after it, it really felt like winning last year was cool. It starts the winning streak now that we won.
Yes.
But last year's game was a win that, you know, Belichick sent him off with a loss, perfectly fine, but that game didn't mean anything. Now it did, right? You're 1-1. You looked not great against Tennessee. There's a lot of good from that game, but now it's like, are you going to put it together against an inferior roster and on live television on a short week dominate? And Mike, did they ever? It wasn't a passing of the torch. We took the torch and shot them in the face and ran away with it. Like, that's really how it felt. And that torch is the Jets-Patriots rivalry. There's still, you know, a hurdle to clear with Buffalo and the AFC East. But in terms of strictly Jet Patriots, it was more than a passing of the torch. The Jets completely dominated that team. They looked unprepared, right, for everything the Jets threw at them. D-line, dominant, 7 sacks.
Yeah.
Cornerbacks, no one's open. Offense, you can run the ball when you want to. You can pass when you want to. I mean, you can't ask for a more complete team win. It was just a sight to behold.
Yeah, and Matt, you tweeted it too. Sauce had 0 targets again.
I think
And
he had
how-
one.
one
I think
target?
he did have one. Someone sent me a video of him like giving up like a 5-yard pass, and I was like, "That's AI. That's not a real video." You
Even if it's one, the defense just what a boost when you just can't throw to half of the field. And man, I thought the coaching for the Jets was really good on Thursday.
Yeah. You challenged when you needed to. You called a timeout in a big spot. And there's a 2nd and 18 play to Conklin that I think really set the tone where you're up a score and you get a penalty that brings you back. And when it's 2nd and 18, the drive's not over. Like in 2nd and 18, you can have a first down. You can have a 15-yard play and make
they went 5 wide.
And they were aggressive. They threw the first 5-6 times of the game. They were everyone was getting touches. It felt like 7-8 guys did, different guys had catches. You even had Isaiah Davis take a few runs in the 3rd quarter. But Mike, thinking about truly up 3 scores in the 4th quarter, the Patriots are running the ball with 5 minutes left. That was us for 15 years, and now it's not. And that's the passing the torch I was referring to. Just perfect. And I want to get your thoughts. Grand scheme of things now, Rodgers week 1 and 2, you could argue knocking off the rust. He had some good quarters, good drives in there. What we saw at Aaron Rodgers, Mike, that's everything as advertised, if not more.
It's so special, Matt. I can't even believe it. I watched the highlights 1,000 times. The throw to Garrett Wilson. I've watched the throw to Garrett Wilson more times than I've seen most of my relatives ever. It's unbelievable. And Matt, there was even the mobility is one thing. He looked mobile. He's running around. He should also stop doing that. Please just throw the ball away. I don't care if we get an extra first down ever. Please don't have any problems. But running around, moving the pocket, controlling the line of scrimmage. There was one play where Garrett Wilson's on the left on 101, clear 101. Patriots saw it. Rodgers is pointing at him. Great 50, I'm a 58, doing the head and helmet thing. Garrett's like pointing at him. Looks like they're going to throw it to Garrett. Rodgers looks left, throws like a 20-yard pass up the middle of Tyler Conklin. Just surgical. And there's so many examples of it. And then every ball placement is perfect. Every play call is perfect. And again, got to give credit. We shit on Nathaniel Hackett for years. He called a great game, I thought, yesterday. Everything was kept the Patriots off guard. I'll give you another example. The Jets brought in Solomon Thomas to play fullback on the goal line, play action, and didn't convert. But then later in the game, you're in a situation where you have 6-7 offensive linemen on the field. You don't know the Jets are going to run the ball. You don't know what they're going to do. So they're finally building some kind of identity. And this is what happens. We've been talking about for the last couple of years. When you string possessions together, you can get more creative. You can keep the other team off balance. And that's what they couldn't do because it's difficult to convert third downs when you have a quarterback like Zach Wilson. So the Jets are dominating on third down. They're extending possessions, keeping drives alive, keeping the defense off balance. We're finally seeing that identity on offense. And Matt, it looks like Braylon Allen is going to be a massive part of everything moving forwards.
Yeah, you give Breece Hall a breather every once in a while, and you have Braylon Allen. Oh, Breece Hall isn't on the field. A guy who's 215 can run a 4.4. Oh, now we have to tackle a guy who's 230 and can still run a 4.4. It's a perfect compliment.
Dude, he was trucking people like they banged his girlfriend. He was being a psychopath.
You're not wrong. And then I'm thinking back to guys that stepped up. Like, I was a little more critical of Tyler Conklin than most. I never thought he was a bad route runner, but hey, can we get more production in the first half when the game's not a blowout? And boy, did he ever do that. And Tyler Conklin was great on Thursday night. Obviously, Will McDonald, a storyline, right? Right now, as if we record it, leads the NFL in sacks.
Will McDick, dude. You fucking serious?
He was
this
great.
Guy's out of his mind.
He was great. And even on plays where he didn't get a sack, he's, causing a stunt for let Quinnen fly through and doing cool shit. Like, perfectly fine.
He is destroyed. Will McDonald single-handedly is destroying Hassan Reddick's leverage. If you started the season and they couldn't touch Purdy, and then in week 2, pressure, a little tough to get pressure in the beginning of the game, Jermaine gets hurt, you're Reddick, you're sitting at home or in Japan being a dick. Oh, probably so happy to make so much money. And then Will McDonald goes out and gets 5 sacks in your face. So lovely. And hopefully this will help just bring him in, and then we want to see them together. But it's very satisfying, right at in the nick of time.
And then Olu comes in there, graded out high as a run blocker. And again, that's why you draft Olu where you did. And Mike, I never was against people that wanted Brock Bowers. I preferred Olu, and I said that for months leading up to the draft.
Yeah.
And I never argued anyone that wanted Brock Bowers, and Bowers had a good start in the first 2 weeks, perfectly fine. And I hated that win now. If you want to win now, you have to take Brock Bowers. Is that more of the sexier win now pick? Definitely, but that's in a vacuum. That's if nobody gets hurt. And Morgan Moses is now confirmed out 2 to 4 weeks. Unlucky,
which is good news.
But yeah, thankfully it's only 2 to 4
Yeah.
weeks. But unlucky you get rolled up on in the game. Now you have Olu that is going to start, and hey, if he pops off, Morgan Moses can take his time to come back. And even if he comes back in a month and Olu's playing perfectly fine, maybe he stays at right tackle, right?
Yep.
And you have a guy that now is a projected top 12 pick in the NFL draft on your offensive line with AVT and John Simpson, who have graded out as the 2 highest guard pass protectors, with Joe Tippmann, who's been absolutely dominant by all metrics. And Tyron Smith has been great through the first 2 weeks. A little susceptible on Thursday night, but that's what happens when you're 33 years old playing 3 games in 10 days. So Tyron Smith gets a free pass for allowing a couple pressures. Just the offensive line has come together in the first 3 weeks here in just a perfect manner, Mike. You can't ask for anything more.
Yeah, man. What team? And this is big credit to Joe Douglas. What team has 2 guys like Olu Fashanu and Will McDonald that you come off the bench as your depth? Those are our depth pieces, 2 high first round picks or mid to high first round picks who are performing well and at the most premium of positions. And then you had Eccles come off the bench the other day and play a great game in Tennessee. It's very impressive. There's a lot of good talent all over this Jets roster, and you have to credit Mr. Douglas. So again, the coaching staff, front office, we've been very critical of them at times. Have to give them their flowers when this happens.
Yeah, entirely proud of the players, entirely proud of the coaching staff, and entirely proud of the front office that put this team together. You saw it all come together on Monday night, and I hated the whole short week for the Patriots. No, the Jets had a short week. The Jets played Monday night 2 weeks ago, right? You have 3 games in 10 days. I don't give a shit if the Patriots had a short week. We didn't ask them to fly across the country. They took a 45-minute private plane to come down and play us. We also traveled from California down to Tennessee and back. So there's no, the Patriots had a short week. No, we did too. And we also had a treacherous journey the first 2 weeks. So I take no stock in that. And yeah, the Patriots sucked, and they're not that good of a team. But they played
well
Seattle
the first
tough.
2 years of 2 games.
They played Seattle tough week 2, and they beat the Bengals week 1. So yeah, they're
easily
not.
Be 2-0. They should have won the Seattle game. They were winning by a touchdown in the 4th quarter.
Yeah,
dude. And I was in Nashville on last week, and going to the game this Thursday. I was tired doing that, and they had to play.
I needed this 10-day gap here. Some people tweeted, "Oh, I need a game tomorrow night." Like I'm so hyped up. I'm like, I actually need like a full week and a half off, like the players do. And you can't not call out Alan Lazard, Mike, again, bouncing back after
he almost dropped the touchdown.
After a brutal 2023. Yeah. And the other thing that I find really cool about the receivers is it's not that they're getting open. They're getting yards after the catch. They're catching the ball, making one guy missing, getting 5-6 extra yards every play. And when you have a quarterback that throws the ball in a perfect spot every time, it allows for that to happen. And it feels very, very complete. That's the word that I would use. It's a complete team. And you take every season in quarters, right? 4, 4, 4, and call the final 5 the 5th. You're in quarter 1 right now with 1 more game to go against Denver at home. Be 3-1, and let's really make moves going into London. It feels like it's right there in front of us after a tough week 1.
Well, that's the thing too. We always talk about momentum and the feel of the season. People, I think, overlook that a lot in sports, especially in football, where games change everything so much. So you lose week 1, and it's tough. It's not a good feeling. We're taking a step back. Be like, all right, let's go to Tennessee. Let's see how things are going. And this is what we talked about after the week 1 game. If you're 3-1 after 4 games and you beat a team like the Patriots by a lot of points, and you're going to be feeling really good. It's a different feeling. You gain momentum, and the players are going to be excited and buying into what is being told to them, and it really changes things. So, and although these are some weaker opponents on the schedule, I'm happy that the Jets are playing them early, get some momentum and get going, and then you're 3-1, and you go play the Vikings in London, and then you're 3-2 or 4-1, and you go play the Bills for the division, on primetime TV with our throwback uniforms. I mean, it's just gonna be so fun. This is what we wanted. We wanted it. We finally got it, and it's not like the Jets won the Super Bowl. Or what, and things could go wrong, whatever. But this finally is what we thought we were gonna see, Matt. Oh,
and it's funny. You look at Twitter; it's like 99.9% just positive vibes. Like everyone's so happy, feels really good. And now you can enjoy a Sunday where a lot of AFC teams are playing the NFC.
It's big.
You want every AFC team to lose. You want the teams that are 1-1 and 2-0 to drop a game, and look, we're not going to walk. You have to evaluate how the Jets played in 3 games. You had one bad game collectively, one very, very mixed game, and then one fantastic game. And if the Jets do 2 of those 3, formats against Denver, they're going to win. You can play a mixed game and a great game. You're going to beat Denver, but it's still a small sample size, right? So if you come out flat like you did against Tennessee or the 49ers, anybody can win on any given day and Sunday in the NFL. But Mike, this could be like a 7-8 point line, depending on how Denver plays this week. Again, where's your statement win? And that was the other thing that when I tweeted out mid last week, probably like Tuesday, I want a statement win against the Patriots. And I said, I'll take a 2-0 win with a safety. I don't care, but I want a statement win. I want to beat a team that has tortured us so badly. And a lot of the replies, Mike, were, I would take, it's probably going to be a barn burner, 17-14, going to be a tough game. Do you think they're going to have a statement win? When do they ever have a statement win against the Patriots? But that was my whole point of the tweet. Change the tide now. And they did. And they did in every way possible. So, Mike, the vibes are perfect. Go beat Denver. Go get it done. And at the game itself, I said to a few people I know, it was my favorite game I've ever been to in 28 years of being a Jet fan.
Yeah, for sure. It was not even close. It was like the Cowboys game was fun that we went to in 2019 that we mentioned before. The Bears game was fun. This is just different level. You have an MVP Hall of Fame quarterback who you're not really sure is ever going to get back to that level. And then he did. He's at the level. He could win the MVP this year, Matt. He really can win the MVP. He has one interception this year that's bullshit. The guy tipped the ball down and it went up somehow. It's insane what we're watching. And we have, Matt, the NFL feels weak this year. It feels weak. Look at the touchdown numbers overall. There's like 40 less touchdowns through this point of the year than there were 3 years ago. Quarterback play feels mediocre. A lot of teams are doing the play everyone back, 2 deep safeties, and everyone just dinks and dunks, and the games are 20-17. The Jets have a vicious team with a guy from the past who is on a revenge tour, who is the MVP of the league the last two of the last 4 years, and he looks like that. And they have all the weapons, and they have the defense. I'm not scared of any of these teams, and I would take a healthy Rodgers like he looked last night over any quarterback in football, maybe Mahomes. Anyone. Lamar Jackson can go fuck himself. Josh Allen can go fumble and be an imbecile. Joe Burrow doesn't know how to use his wrist. I don't understand. This is different, Matt. I've never seen anything like this. Going to destroy people.
The question is in week 1 or 2, the mobility, right? The processing is there. The arm talent is still there. I wouldn't take
week 1 and 2 Rodgers with the way that he looked running around. I agree with you. This is different.
The processing time is so effective. And the cool thing is, and everyone's saying it, and it's a cliche, but him and Garrett haven't been perfect yet. Like what happens when that clicks? And it's an interesting argument on like Devontae, right? The Raiders have been very hurt. There's been a lot of injuries in the NFC the first week or two. This past week, AFC teams have been getting banged up. Browns have injuries. Raiders have injuries. These are teams. Herbert down for the Chargers, probable, but high ankle sprain. I really look at the schedule every week and look at who wins and losses. Like you look at your fantasy team, you're like, oh, Brock Bowers touchdown. Like, no, I want the Raiders to lose by 500 points on Sunday. I don't want a Brock Bowers touchdown. So that's the fun part of having a game earlier in the week. When you win, you can just enjoy a Sunday, watch these other teams falter. Injuries are going to hit on every team. It hit on the Jets already. You have a starting tackle out. That's not a free pass, but the thing is that GM built the team around it.
Jermaine Johnson tore his Achilles. It's a lot. That's tough.
It's
So
a
you
lot.
already went through your big depth. That's why Morgan Moses being out short time is very important. In case Tyron's not going to play 17 games, and it's going to be scary to have Max Mitchell or Carter Warren out there who are fine depth pieces, but just protecting Rodgers is nerve wracking. Look at the Dolphins; their whole season is completely changed already. Unfortunately, the Bills, Matt, I have my eye on as obviously our main competition in the AFC East with no Tua. They have the 0-2 desperate Jaguars this week on Monday Night Football, and then the 0-2 desperate Ravens the following week. So, very, very dangerous times for these teams. Sean McDermott, terror sympathizer, tough. They're gonna have problems.
The reason why I'm a little less scared of the Bills as I would be if the Patriots were in the same spot is just the Bills have played down to the Jets for the past 3 or 4 years. Even in games they've won, the Jets were competitive when they shouldn't have been, and the Jets have obviously beaten them a couple times the past 2 or 3 years. So I had a very strange thought 2 years ago where I really felt like the Jets had the worst coach in the division. I looked at Sean McDermott, who just consistently put up wins with this team. Bill Belichick, obviously different, and Mike McDaniel was scoring millions of points. And I really felt for a second we had the worst coach in the division, which was fair at the time. Belichick gone, and Gerard Mayo's doing dumb bits on the sideline with his team, right? Mike McDaniel.
What did he do?
So it was actually a really funny video. He was walking by his other coaches and players, and he'd pretend like a ball was coming in from like an errant throw or a punt. He'd like heads, and every guy would duck, and he's like, "Got you," which is funny. But then they lost the game, so
then he's running the ball 21-3 out of single back, in the fourth quarter.
Gerard Mayo's right now hasn't proven he's a better coach. Mike McDaniel is very questionable right now. I think they've lost 3 of their last 8. And then Sean McDermott, again, terrorist sympathizer, bad guy, and he hasn't done anything in December.
Anti-America, yeah.
He's definitely anti-American. And that scumbag wore the FDNY hat for the 9/11 game last year, which he shouldn't wear on his fucking head. He's a piece of shit. Like, truly, Sean McDermott's a piece of shit. And the cool thing is, I looked at, I think I tweeted out a while ago, Josh Allen and Tua are 2 guys that if they were at the bar, I think they'd be a great time to get a beer with.
Yeah.
I hated Mac Jones, like all my passion. And Mac Jones is gone. I don't have to worry about him anymore.
Who cares?
And Drake May, all he had to do was come in and do like a few checkdowns, and he was 4 for 8. And I think you dipped. I left after with like a minute 15 left in the game.
Yeah.
But I forgot Drake May played until I woke up the next morning like a little hungover, and I'm like, fuck, they put in Drake May last night. That's how bad it got.
It sucked that he did the wait for Rodgers, wait for the GOAT, get a handshake. I don't want to like Drake May at all. I want to hate him.
What did he do?
He waited for Rodgers post game. He was like, I want to dap up the GOAT, which is cool as fuck.
It was cool. I was explaining to my fiance's little sister about how she's like, Aaron Rodgers, how is he still doing it at like 40 years old? It's weird. And I explained to her, he doesn't have the most Super Bowls, doesn't have the most yards and touchdowns, but if you look at everything in a vacuum, he's arguably the greatest thrower of the football ever. And if a few breaks went his way in games that his defense did nothing in the playoffs, he actually would be considered top 3, if not the GOAT. And he's still top 5. He's still there. And
if he wins the Super Bowl, Matt, it's legacy changing. Why is Peyton Manning and Peyton Manning can literally go fuck himself based on what he's done to the Jets in terms of beating them in big games and giving them Adam Gase and not coming out of school and just being annoying for many years. But as a player, I love Peyton Manning. He's terrific.
Yeah.
Why would Rodgers not be better than him? He wins his same win percentage. He has the best touchdown to interception. He'd have 2 Super Bowls. It's right there, Matt. He would be top 3, top Brady, Montana, Rodgers.
The last thing I want to touch on is that same thought, right? So Rodgers, it's so early to say it, right? But if the Jets do their business this year and win the fucking Super Bowl, I think it's poetic for Rodgers to say, I did my job. I wanted to prove I could do it. I brought them a Super Bowl. He likely retires and goes out in the sunset. But there is a path that the Jets have a great year and fall short. And he's proven that he can easily come back and do it again. Like, he's that sharp still. And he's
played 2 years, Matt. Why would he not looking like this? Again, maybe week 1 and 2, he's a little immobile. I didn't want to admit it. He was a little, I don't know, clunky.
It's rust. It's rust.
It was rust, but we didn't know that. It might just be what he was now. It's not. He should play 2 years. And I agree. If he wins the Super Bowl, he's gonna, even based off what he said, he's probably gonna leave, which is fine. That's so fine.
So it's a great game. If you made it this far,
we're winning the Super Bowl, dude.
Subscribe on YouTube. If we don't follow you back, DM us. Mike, we met like 15 fans of the program at
awesome.
the game. It was so cool. If we're ever at the game and you see us, definitely run up to us.
Especially
beers
if
on
with
us.
Women or something, then definitely come say hello. That's even more hilarious.
It was very fun to see a lot of Jet fans and link up with people. So, Mike, that's it for me. I'm gonna go get brunch, have a mimosa or two. Can't wait.
Yeah, dude, get after it. I went to the Met game last night. Tough loss for the boys with my buddy Pat, friend of the program. Pat, shout out Pat.
Shout out Pat.
He listens to the end. He'll hit me with like a something that we said in like the 34th minute. I'm like, oh, dude, come on, that's awesome. Thanks for sticking around. Come on.
We have a really good crew. We'll be back. We'll run it back. Maybe do a preview show. We'll try to get more active. But Mike, have a good day. I'll talk to you in a little bit.
Jet up, baby. We're in the Super Bowl. Come on.